Hi everyone and welcome to episode number 82 of the Talk is Cheap show. Hope you're all well, healthy and COVID free. Thanks to everyone today for tapping in. We truly appreciate your support. We've got another excellent show lined up for you today and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it very much. But before we do all that, the cursory introductions. Let me start by introducing my co-host, expert analyst and good friend, the judicious, the jovial, the joyful, the jolly, the jazzy, the jaunty, the joie de vivre, the justifiably deserved as his status as the #1 influencer on AFTV. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big digital round of applause for Curtis Shaw of Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't even know what joie de vivre means, but it sounds good anyway, so I'll go along with it.
Joie de vivre means full of joy and
okay, yeah, I'll take that.
You bring that joy into people's lives, which you do, man. You know
I appreciate that, bro.
Don't put yourself down, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Pleasure to be here, bro. Looking forward to another great show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, great to have you back. What you been up to, man?
Bro, same old, the watch-alongs and back in the gym and, just usual stuff, man. Trying to keep up with football and Arsenal being linked with every player in the world right now, I think. With everyone, signing no one.
Yeah. Word on the street tells me you're on some Ainsley Maitland-Niles shit.
Man, yeah.
Do you want to tell the people about it?
Yeah, man. It was their fault, not mine.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
for those of you who don't know out there, by the way, Curtis has got involved in a car accident. We're glad to say that he and the other party are both well. No damage done to them. However, there was some damage done to Curtis's car because we were expecting you in the studio this week. But obviously, the accident with your car put paid to that. But hopefully next week, bro.
Yeah, definitely. God willing, we'll be there next week.
But at least, you're okay. And at least we got you on the show. So that's the thing. Okay, right. Introduction's done. Let's move on because, time is always a factor. So let's start off the show in proper by looking at what I like to call our news and notes segment of the show. So in doing so, let's catch up with the latest in regards to Arsenal's transfer activity or lack thereof. So let's see what's going on. Right, first up then to report. It would appear that the signing of Albert Sambi Lokonga, last week I butchered his name. I'm trying very Albert Sambi Lokonga, 21-year-old current and elect central midfielder. It would appear to all intents and purposes that the deal is done. Terms are agreed with the player and his current club and elect. Looks like it's to be announced early next week is what I'm hearing. The fee, talking in the ballpark of 17.5 million euros. Curtis, what's your thoughts on that now that the deal looks set to be done?
It's nice to see some business being done. As I said before, man, I've seen him only a handful of times, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on him. Vincent Kompany was his manager. He made him captain. Obviously, Kompany was a great leader at Man City, so he obviously sees something in Lokonga at the age of 21. I think 20 at the time when he made him captain. He was called up to the Belgium squad. Thierry-Henry apparently has recommended him to Arsenal. So, listen, I don't mind Arsenal making these types of deals because it's a young guy with potential. You hope in the future he'll be worth a lot more and improve. It's minimal risk. So, listen, let's hope. He needs to be an addition rather than the marquee transfer. I still think we need more. But listen, it's a start. Hopefully he'll be a bright young player that can improve.
Yep. Okay. Yep. That sounds good. Moving on then, Aaron Ramsdale, goalkeeper, currently at Sheffield United. Arsenal said he talked to the player as a possible replacement to Bernd Leno or maybe a backup because it looks like Matt Ryan's not staying. So, what's your thoughts on Aaron Ramsdale?
Yeah, this one for me, man. I don't mind this deal falling through if they're in talks with this guy, man. Nah, not for me.
No deal.
No deal, man. Deal or no deal, man. This guy, for me, is not better than Leno. I don't see why Ramsdale would come to Arsenal as a backup. He's in the England squad now. He was playing at Sheffield United. I'm sure he could go to a club in the Premier League and play first-team football, but this guy, for me, he's just been relegated. He's conceded loads of goals, didn't have a great season. I'd stay well away from this deal personally. I hope there's no truth in this one.
Deal or no deal?
Yeah, this is no deal for me, bro. I don't want nothing to do with this deal.
A categoric no deal response from Mr. Curtis Shaw in the house. Okay, moving on again then. Manuel Locatelli, currently playing in the Euros, of course, of Italy and doing some sterling work there. It would appear that we made an offer. I know there's a few other teams want him as well. What's your thoughts on Manuel Locatelli?
Well, they're now saying that his club are kind of using Arsenal to drive the price up. Well, apparently, Juventus are the front runners to get him. Obviously, they've been the dominant team in Italy. Locatelli apparently wants the Juventus move, but isn't, against going abroad. I kind of think we're being used a little bit as a chess piece here. Yeah, we may have made an offer, but I don't think this will happen unless Juventus can't afford it to happen. There's a lot of rumours that Juventus are in a lot of financial trouble at the moment. They may not be able to afford the deal, and that's the only reason Arsenal are kind of waiting in the background. I don't see this one happening, but you never know. Sometimes, it falls into your lap. Juve can't afford it. Sassuolo want to sell him, and we get him, but I wouldn't get too hyped up about it if I was Arsenal fans. I don't think it will happen.
Well, I'm hearing rumours that between Arsenal and Juve, he's choosing Arsenal because he stands to win more trophies here.
The Emirates Cup.
Turn down Juve, win the title in Italy nearly every year and play Champions League football and come to a club with no European football and wins the FA Cup every 4 or 5 years. What are you going to say, bro?
Yeah, I think, but the Carabao Cup, mate, that's an exciting tournament.
So what we're saying, deal or no deal, bro?
Yeah, I don't think this one will be happening. Don't hype yourself up on this one, Arsenal fans.
Yeah. I mean, like you were saying, me and you were talking the other day, we were talking about being linked with and being associated with and showing an interest in. I mean, at the end of the day, man, any team in the world can do that, can't they? Really?
Yeah, exactly.
All you got to do is ring up the guy's agent and then you can say, yeah, we're linked with him. We're talking, we're in active talks. But it doesn't really mean much. But anyway, we'll see what happens with regards to that. Marcel Sabitzer, central midfielder, currently at RB Leipzig, valued at 14.5 million. What's your thoughts on that one, bro? Very quickly.
This, for me, Arsenal should be all over this one for me. I've rated this guy for the last probably 2 years. He's got a year left on his deal, apparently willing to leave. They want to get some money for him. Did well in the Euros, played a few great passes and that. He's a good player. Attacking number 8, gets goals, he's clever. For that price as well, I mean, that could be one of the bargains of the summer. But, like I say with Arsenal, if it makes sense, Arsenal probably won't do it. So, but I'd love Arsenal to sign him, man. I think he'll be a bargain.
So deal or no deal, you'll deal with that one?
Yeah, I'd be dealing on that one, yeah.
Okay, then. What about another midfielder we've been linked with, supposedly? Is it Petra Zielinski?
Zielinski, yeah.
Zielinski, yeah. I'm butchering that name.
Butchering that one.
Yeah.
No, he's a good player. Napoli. I remember he played against Arsenal in the Europa League. Was it when Emery, when we got to the final? He's a good player. Good player. I mean, he's been around for a while. I think he's left-footed as well, so it would be kind of a Xhaka replacement, although I think he is better than Xhaka. Yeah, I would like that one, to be honest. Depends on the price they're asking for him. But yeah, he's a fairly good player, Zielinski.
Had a decent Euros with Poland as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good player.
So you like the look of that one, do you?
Yeah, I like that one. I'd take that one.
You take
at the right price. At the right price.
Yeah. Right, okay. The latest on Ben White. We discussed this a couple of weeks ago, and it looked to all intents and purposes that he was coming. I know you weren't going out the water, but now we're hearing the deal could be gazumped. With 2 clubs currently showing an interest in him, and apparently, I think what I heard today was Man City have actually had talks with the player or his agent.
Yeah.
And then the other club that's said to be interested are Everton. Moneybags Everton. So yeah, fear that Ben White's got options, man. So what are you saying about that one?
I mean, Man City, I can't see the Man City one because they've got Laporte, Ruben Diaz, John Stones. Nathan Ake, you know, I don't see where Ben White fits into that. Everton, I mean, they're saying Everton have come out and said, yep, you want 50 million? There's 50 million. Like, you know what I mean? So all Arsenal's messing about. This could be Buendia part 2, you know, guy we're linked with for weeks and weeks, and he ends up going somewhere else. So
how much did we offer for it?
Well, they're saying now we offered about 42.5 plus 5 million in add-ons. Okay. Where Everton are saying, take the 50, you know, if you want him. So obviously they've just got Rafa. I'm sure they will have promised him money there as well. So if this is the guy they've earmarked to Arsenal, they're going to have to put the money down and get it done, or it could be more embarrassment, you know. So
maybe we should offer 50 million plus £1.
Yeah, Arsenal's famous negotiation tactics. Oh, my days.
It'll be just our luck, though, isn't it? You think you got the player, and then lo and behold, Everton of all teams, forget about City. I mean, Villa did to us before.
Yeah.
Everton come and gazump the deal.
You could see it. You could see it happening. You
could. But you know what? I'm hearing also that Ben White has expressed an interest in coming to us.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
For the club. So that could be a plus in our favour.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Reece Nelson then. He's been in the news because it would appear to all intents and purposes, I keep using that word, I like that word. Yeah, he's been linked with a move away from the club, with a number of clubs looking at him, most prominent being Olympiacos for a loan deal. What's your thoughts on Reece Nelson? I mean, he didn't get a look in last season, did he? So if you were him, what would you do?
I mean, I think Nelson should have gone last year because there were rumours that he could have gone on loan last season. I get it. Sometimes as a player, you think, you know, if I'm present, then something can happen. If I'm on the training ground every day, I can make an impression in front of the manager. He then got to January and I'm thinking, well, now you've got to go because he hardly played. You look at Joe Willock, he went in January. Look how he finished the season. For me, Nelson needs to go and get game time. I think it's a shame because a player like Willian, you could look at and say has kind of come and got in his way. But I don't think Nelson's done enough at Arsenal so far, although some would say he hasn't been given the opportunity. But yeah, I think he's got to go on loan. Olympiacos would be European football for him. Sure. So yeah, go and experience something else and maybe you can come back and still have an Arsenal career.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with what you said there. I mean, listen, Reece Nelson, I'm sure he's good friends with Joe Willock and Maitland-Niles. Both those two guys have gone on loan. Joe Willock in particular has done very well. He's got to be looking at those two and thinking, well, you know, they've gone away and done well. I can do the same thing. Because we know this guy's talented. For whatever reason, he's not been given an opportunity. He's a young lad in his prime. Well, he's not reached his prime yet, but you need to be playing football, don't you?
Yeah.
Getting some starts and making your name. And if it's a loan deal, like you said, he could do well and possibly come back.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. You mentioned Willian earlier. He's in the news. Willian, I'm never going to let you forget that. Right?
Moneybags William, man.
Well, listen, man, the man's got restaurants in Dubai he's got to fund, man. The man ain't
you
know what I mean?
They're not cheap.
Yeah, he's been in the news because he was being linked with a move to David Beckham's club in America, into Miami. They thought they had the deal done and dusted, and lo and behold, Willian's holding out for a staggering 160k a week. I'm not so sure if he's worth that, but certainly into Miami don't think he's worth that. So it looks like he might be staying after all.
I think the problem with this, we've tied ourselves to a contract that, listen, from Willian's point of view, why is he going to walk out of that deal and take a massive pay cut? Arsenal were silly enough to give him a 3-year contract. He turns 33 in August, so you've got 2 years left. He's going to be 35. Look how bad he was last year as a 32-year-old. Imagine by the time he's 35, he won't be able to move. Listen, we might be stuck with him. If I was Arsenal, I think the best case scenario is get him out on loan. A club pays maybe half the wage and we have to still pay half. Otherwise, I think we'll be stuck with him. I think personally, you could see Willian in the Arsenal squad next season because that contract has finished us in terms of that. I'm telling you.
I mean, what you were saying earlier makes sense, but that's predicated on somebody wanting him in the first place.
Yeah.
He's going to pay half his wages, still 80 grand a week. Now,
Yeah.
Based on his performances last season, I'm not seeing a whole load of teams rolling up and offering to pay that.
No, probably not.
So I think we're probably going to be stuck with him for the next couple of years. But he's in a very strong position, you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised that he's turned down into Miami and that he's demanding that amount of money. Because let's face it, he's going to have to. It's a bit of an upheaval, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Over to Miami or America, so you can see why he's put that figure out as his demand and sticking to it. But we'll see what happens, man. Okay, so that's it. Did I mention Nuno Tavares?
Who let the dogs out? They're calling this guy right now.
You know what, bro? People have told me about this video circulating about Nuno Tavares and some dogs and that, man. But I'm trying not to see it because if what I'm hearing is true, it sounds a little disconcerting to say the least. But let's not talk about his dogs. Let's talk about his ability as a footballer, which is people say is considerable. He's been brought in as a potential replacement for backup for Kieran Tierney. For 8 million, which seems to be a bit of a steal, doesn't it? Given what you're saying about the player. What's your thoughts, bro?
I mean, he's got good pedigree, to be fair. I had to do that, man. I couldn't get away from it. No, but listen, he's had one or two issues over there, but listen, he's 21, plays for Portugal under 21s. Apparently, he's a good athlete, good getting forward. Quick defensively, they say he needs to sharpen up a little bit, but maybe Arteta can, steer him in the right direction. £8 million for a backup player. I think people would rather us buy a young upcoming player than go and buy, a 32, 33. I know he was being linked with Ryan Bertrand, who's gone to Leicester. I suppose young, hungry, fast players is probably more the direction to go than old players, just looking for a final paycheck. So let's see how it works out, man. But keep him away from the racetrack in Walthamstow, I'd say.
Well, we had a previous dog lover at the club, Alexis Sanchez. If it turns out to be anywhere near the ballpark as Alexis Sanchez, we'll be getting a good deal.
Yeah,
we're of Southampton and Napoli to get him. So, that sounds fairly encouraging. But we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Okay. What else has we got in terms of other news relating to Arsenal? We spoke briefly about the Ainsley Maitland-Niles in jest. But on a serious note, listen, man, he had the accident. I saw some of the pictures. It looked like quite a bad one. But thankfully, there's no harm done to the player, and we wish him well. We don't know what he's going to do next season yet, do we? I don't imagine he'll be coming back to Arsenal.
No, I get the impression Arteta will move him on. I just don't think he'll keep him, which is a shame. But he has had a lot of opportunities at Arsenal to make it work. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? He needs to play regular football.
He does. But I do think he's a good player,
I do.
Yeah, I think the knock on him is that he's quite error prone. His concentration levels are not always what they should be. Maybe he wasn't concentrating enough when he was driving as well. But no, on a serious note, listen, I do actually rate him as a player. I mean, he wasn't that long ago. He broke into the England squad.
Yeah.
He's a very good player. He just needs the opportunity to shine. And if he gets an opportunity, let's hope that he takes it. Apparently, he did pretty well on loan at West Brom, even though ultimately they went down. But he did impress while he was there. I've spoken to a few people who follow West Brom, and they like the look of him. So wish him the best if he does move on. And I'm glad he wasn't hurt in that accident.
Yeah.
We should also say it would be remiss of me not to mention Patrick Vieira, Arsenal legend, now a manager, and we're now hearing that he's agreed to become Crystal Palace's manager. A few words on that, bro? Anything you want to say about that?
No, I'm delighted for him. Arsenal legend, and obviously he wants to go into management. And I think he's got a good job there. Decent job. Palace, pretty stable. Got a few good players. I know Zaha's making noise again. The usual every summer wants to leave. Maybe Vieira will chuck him to Arsenal, but and maybe we could loan a few players to Vieira as well. But no, listen, I think it's a good job for him. hopefully they back him and give him an opportunity to prove himself. So, yeah, good luck to Vieira.
Yeah, listen, man, I'm made up for him. I sincerely hope he does well. And on a personal note, it's good to see another black manager in the game, especially a guy like Vieira, who's a legend at our club. You never know, man. I mean, this could be like his little venture into management that might see him one day take over at Arsenal. Who knows? If he does. I've been impressed with his commentary on the Euros. He seems to know what he's talking about. And if he can lead by example, the way he played, I'm sure he'll do well over here. So I'll be watching out for that. And we wish him well, like I said. Right, okay, so moving on from Arsenal matters. Now let's talk about the other big football matters out there, and that's the Euros, our Euros update. So last week we reviewed the round of 16, didn't we? Well, not say we previewed the round of 16, and I asked you for your predictions. So let's do a quick recap. Wales versus Denmark.
I think I got nearly all of these wrong, actually.
We definitely got this one wrong.
Yeah.
A resounding 4-0 win to the Danes, who impressed me, I've got to say, man. Really I never saw that coming. Although what I would say is that Wales, for about the first 25 to 30 minutes, I thought were the better team. And they had a number of chances, which obviously they didn't take. Then they got the man sent off, and it was... No, sorry. They conceded a goal, didn't they? And it seemed to go downhill from there.
Yeah.
And they had a man sent off. So, yeah, a pretty miserable 4-0 defeat. What was your thoughts on that very quickly?
Yeah, I did that watch along on Robbie's channel for that one. Shout out Saeed and Toby and Alex and Robbie on that. It was a good game to do, actually. It was exciting. Denmark, they look, I think, with everything that's happened, it has lifted them slightly, and they actually play good football as well, Denmark. They bopped Wales in the end. Wales had chances, but I think they ran out of steam. There's such a heavy reliance on Ramsey and Bale. They didn't have a lot else, and they got smashed. So, yeah, Denmark, they're a dark horse at the moment, I think.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, definitely. And like you say, they play a good brand of football as well. They're exciting. They score goals. Yeah, and like I said, they're galvanised by the Ericsson incident. And yeah, man, they're a team to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on then. Italy, Austria. This one was, some people might say, surprisingly closely contested.
Yeah.
Italy won 2-1. Quick thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I was surprised how difficult it was. Austria made it difficult, took them to extra time. Obviously, they got the better of them in extra time. But yeah, Italy, I think it showed everyone that Italy have got weaknesses. Everyone was hyping about them in the group. They haven't really played anyone significant. So it was an important win, but I think if England or anyone ends up playing Italy, there's enough there that you can get at them and make it difficult for them.
Yeah. Well said. Moving on again, Holland, Czech Republic, the first big upset of that round. 2-0 defeat. I must say, I didn't see that coming.
No.
Disrespect to the Czech Republic, but I did think Holland would win this game with something to spare. Lo and behold, I was proven very wrong. And apparently, I didn't see all that game because I was out at AFTV FC had a game that day as well. But I'm told that the Czech Republic were deserved winners. And 2-0 didn't flatter them, is what I was told. What do you think?
I mean, Holland had a man sent off in this game. Centre-back De Ligt was sent off for handball. So I think from there, Czech Republic took control. I do think Holland would have possibly beaten them if they didn't have the man sent off. But once they went down to 10 men, they just didn't really adjust to having 10 men. They seemed to keep attacking. They were leaving gaps and they got picked off. And I think Czech Republic, I wasn't that impressed with Czech Republic against England, but they've kind of quietly gone about their business and got through. So, but again, Czech Republic, I still think teams will be looking at them thinking they can beat them moving forward, Yeah.
Okay, then. Well, we'll see what happens from there on in. Belgium, Portugal. A lot of people was talking about them. We had a certain football expert on the show predicting that Portugal was going to win. Yeah, Belgium won, Portugal 0. I know you had it for Portugal before the game.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I thought Portugal were pretty poor, to be honest. Didn't create enough, didn't attack. Like, they weren't trying to do enough to get a goal. Obviously, Hazard scored, and from there, well, yeah, the new young Hazard, man, seems to
Hazard,
yeah, man's overtaken his brother now. But no, it was a poor performance. You could see Ronaldo's frustration at the end. I thought Jota had a poor game. I thought Renato Sanchez was very good again for Portugal, but they just didn't do enough. They looked like they ran out of ideas, and Belgium got the better of them. So, yeah, called that one wrong. I think I got caught up in the Ronaldo hype, to be honest. But, yeah.
Well, I did notice about that game. I did watch that game. And, Portugal were disappointing for the most part. But then towards the end, when they realised, look, we could be going out, then they started attacking, and they did actually come close a couple of times.
Yeah.
Belgium ragged a little bit at the back there towards the end. They could have had an equaliser, but they didn't, and they're going home. Lukaku had some nice words for
Ronaldo
after the game. I don't know what he was saying.
What he was saying to him, like, what could he say?
Yeah, you passed the torch, but don't worry, bro. I'm going to bring it home.
Yeah.
But it did seem to be a pretty long conversation, didn't it? I think Lukaku looked like he might have been paying homage.
Yeah, I think he was.
Maybe it's some kind of backhanded compliment saying, look, you've been a great player, man, but hold
that L.
No, but on a serious note, it looked like you was some mad respecting going on.
Yeah,
good play to Ronaldo. For Lukaku for that. So
yeah.
Right, Croatia, Spain, lots of goals in this game. Croatia 3, Spain 5. And Spain have been finding it hard to score previous to now. Racked up 2 5-goals games in quick succession. So what's your thoughts on that one, right?
I mean, the first goal that Spain conceded, that goalkeeper, I'm like, listen, someone check his betting accounts, mate, because that was wild. That was wild. But
that was, man.
But that was one of the games of the tournament, man. Just goals galore, and even Morata scored, you know what I mean? So, no, I don't know what quite to make of this Spanish team. Like, they're not, I watch them, I think, you're not as good as the previous Spain, but they're scoring goals, they're getting through, you know, they're going to quietly again sit there and think that they can do something. So, and no one's really talking about Spain as a winner either.
You're right there. Yeah. And I'll tell you what else I noticed about Spain as well. They got a manager that celebrates the goals more than the players do.
Yeah, Luis Enrique. Yeah, very passionate.
I thought he was going to rip his shirt off and run to the corner flag and do a slide.
Yeah.
But yeah, very passionate, very passionate. I like the passion. But yeah, man, look, Spain are one of those teams, man, you can never write them off.
Yeah.
It sounds like an old, tired, worn cliche, but they've got some very good players. And it's interesting, a couple of games ago, people were saying, look, they ain't going to go very far in this tournament because they can't score goals. Lo and behold, 2 games, they've scored 5 goals. So, yeah, man, you can't write them off at all. See what happens with them as they progress. Right, the next game, massive upset, man. Not many people saw this coming. Certainly me and you didn't. But France 3, Switzerland 3 in normal time. Switzerland win 5-4 on penalties. Upset of the tournament so far, I would say. What would you say about that game?
I kind of look here and think France threw the game away. I mean, you know, Pogba's dancing at 3-1, you know what I mean? Big drip.
You know what it is?
What a great goal.
Dancing once. He actually did a double dance, didn't he? Because he danced one time. I'm like, okay, cool. Then he called another.
They came over, they dropped another one.
A routine. Yeah. I mean, I just want to say quickly, like, France disappointed me, man. I mean, if ever a game, that old adage about how teamwork can defeat a team with more talent. This game was it. This game encapsulated that adage, because you look at that French team, man, spoilt for talent, and their attitude wasn't right, man. They started off really slowly, a point that was picked up upon by Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira in TV studios. They were chastising France for their attitude. And I think there was more than an element of truth about that. And then in the second half, they pick it up. They start to show some form of what they were really about. Pogba scores a magnificent goal. They're 3-1 up, bro, with 8 minutes to go in a big game like this. And you conspire to throw it all away. And Mbappe, well, he had a game to forget. I must admit, when Switzerland pulled it back to 3-3, and then when it went on to go to penalties, I was already thinking they could be out here. Yeah. And I don't know what you think, man, but might be slightly controversial, but I do genuinely believe this. I don't think they should have allowed Mbappe to take the penalty, not in that first round of kicks anyway. If it had gone to sudden death, then you would have had to take one. But the minute he stepped up, bro, to take that penalty, we were all watching it at the AFTV offices, and we said to a man, Mbappe's going to miss. He'd had a shocking game. He seemed to be bothered by his hamstring as well. He'd missed a few chances. He wasn't on it. And just his body language when he stepped up to take that penalty, I already knew that he was going to miss it. And I'm not even capping, man. I said that. We all said it. I'm not trying to be wise after the event. We all said it. He's going to miss. And of course he missed. And they went out. What's your thoughts, bro?
I mean, just on that Mbappe thing, I think when I've played previously, whenever a player has had like a bad game and then takes a penalty, what often happens is they would say, go and take one of the first penalties, because if worst case scenario you miss, we've still got enough time maybe to rescue the situation. I think when you saw Mbappe taking that fifth penalty, it was like, wow, you've had such a bad game. If you miss this, your country is out. It's like it was almost written that he's going to miss that penalty, you know? So it's hard as a manager because Mbappe's such a good player, probably got so much belief in his ability. He would have probably been like, I'm going to score this penalty. Don't matter how bad I've played in the game. But I just think France suffered from a lack of leadership. At 3-1, shut that game off. Don't let them have any opportunity of scoring. You still just play. Yeah, stop dancing, bruv. Dance when the full-time whistle goes, you know. And this is the crazy thing about Pogba, because I think Pogba's an unbelievable player in terms of talent. He had a great game as well.
He did.
But funnily enough, he gets caught out for that goal at the end for Switzerland, gets caught on the ball. Yeah. They end up scoring from it. And you're like, it makes you look a bit silly, you know. You've scored, then danced, and then lost the ball that's cost your team a goal. It's like...
You think it was a foul, though? A lot of people are suggesting that may have been a foul. I think I would have... It flies under that banner that I've seen him given. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Sometimes, you know, Pogba's 6'4" and a big guy. So sometimes when someone short and knocks him, a ref's going to be like, oh, come on, you could have handled. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get that kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, with France, for me, I think we were talking before this. There's this report now that Griezmann and Benzema, apparently Griezmann was jealous of the attention that Benzema was getting from all the press, not happy about him and stuff like that. I think they are a team full of individuals. Like you said earlier, when they're getting on and it's going well, it's all great. But when it goes wrong, I think they suffer from a lack of leadership. You know, I thought Varane was poor in defence, you know, was getting ram ragged, wasn't leading. He's the experienced defender. Pogba played well, but is he a leader in that sense? So I'm not surprised in a sense that they got knocked out. They had the talent, but their attitude,
their approach to the game, it was almost like, you know, we're expected to get past this. By converse, Granit Xhaka, our own Granit Xhaka, he had a hell of a game, and he led from the front in that game, didn't he? Everything that was good about Switzerland was kind of encapsulated in that performance by Granit Xhaka, and it was one of those games that you watch it and you think, you know what, this game highlights the need for, as you were saying before, a team to be an actual team and to give due respect to your opponents, man. Yeah. Because I just looking at that game, I just thought France rocked up and they thought they were going to win, and they were, you know what I mean? And when they went 3-1 up, they were showboating and dancing. And like I said, 3-1 up with 8 minutes to go in a big game like that, it's criminal that they threw that away. And like you said as well, we're hearing stories now about player fallouts. I mean, there were stories beforehand that Mbappe and Giroud didn't get on. And then you brought my attention to that story with Griezmann and
Benzema.
And Benzema's previously fallen out with Giroud, as we all know. Talking of Griezmann, I don't know why he was taken off. I thought he was one of their better players in that game, to be honest. So I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe the manager thought the game was done. Have a rest. We got a game in 3 days. You know what I mean?
He took off Griezmann and brought on Sissoko. I mean, like, bro, come on.
Yeah, it's a big downgrade, isn't it?
That in itself tells you a whole lot, you know. And presumably, Sissoko was brought on to shore up the game. Well, that didn't work, did it?
No.
But yeah, man, I was disappointed to see France go out, man, because with the talent they've got, I wanted to see them really go on and do things in this tournament. It's disappointing that they've gone out this early, but I think they've only got themselves to blame ultimately, man.
Yeah.
Okay, then. That's France out. Massive upset. We'll leave England till last. Sweden, Ukraine. That was a bit of an upset as well. I never saw that coming, man. Ukraine beating Sweden, did you?
No, again, I think the red card changed the direction of the game. And then Ukraine got their late goal. And yeah, do you know, obviously we're going to talk about it, but looking at those two teams, especially Ukraine, I just think should be dealing with them without too many problems, man. You know, they're kind of fortunate to still be in the competition, but obviously the red card made it easier for them. So a good win for them in the end.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they've got this far, but they have, so you have to give them credit. But yeah, well played, Ukraine, I guess. Right, okay then. So that was a round of 16. Now we're at the quarterfinal stages. Things started to get very exciting. Because
England,
Germany.
Yeah.
Myself. Look, last week on the show, I predicted that England would win this. I think I actually said that England would win 2-0. And I was right. And the game kind of went the way I thought it would go. I think Germany are a decent side, but they're a side that's past their best. And the fact that we were at home, I just think the momentum was in our favour. I fully expected us to beat them. And whilst we didn't make the best of starts, I think by 30, 40 minutes into the game, we'd really established ourselves and were starting to look like the better team. And then once we scored, I didn't see them coming back into it, although obviously Sterling had that blooper where he gave the ball away and Muller was through on goal and missed. I guess in a way that kind of sums Germany up with this tournament as well. But what was your thoughts, bro?
I think it was a very good victory in the end. I mean, there's fine margins in football. You look at Werner, he could have scored, but, you know, Werner was doing what Werner does. But I got to be honest, when Thomas Muller's one-on-one, I'm thinking goal, because he is a clinical finisher. And then when I see him put that wide, I'm like, this is meant to be that England are going to win this game. And I thought England's goals were really well worked, you know, good little ball into feet, out wide, whipped in, goal, you know, both goals very similar. We had a couple of other chances as well. I give a lot of credit to Gareth Southgate. I got to be honest, because playing free at the back against Germany and matching them, I thought, you know, maybe we should stick to what we've been doing, but I think it worked. And I'm actually thinking, I think that England fans should be getting reasonably excited about what's happening. I think we're always very quick in England to play down the achievements, but I look at some of these other teams and I think a lot of teams have had easier runs than England have had. We've had Croatia, not as good a Croatia as they were 2 years ago, but they are World Cup finalists. You know, Scotland is a grudge match. We were poor in the Scotland game, to be honest. Czech Republic, I mean, they're in the same stage as us. We beat them and we just beat Germany. I mean, Germany beat Portugal 4-2 in the group and everyone was raving about them. I felt like Germany picked the wrong team. You know, he'd been playing Havertz up front and playing Gnabry. This game, he brought in Werner and dropped Gnabry. I couldn't understand that for a second, but I think it was a really good victory. You know, in my lifetime, I don't think I've seen England beat a top team like that in the knockout stage, really. So I thought it was a massive victory.
Agreed. And they've done all that without conceding a goal. So
yeah.
So okay, so like I said then, so now we're at the quarterfinal stages.
Yeah.
Starting to get very exciting. Let's start with Switzerland, Spain. Granit Xhaka's out of this game, by the way.
Oh yeah, suspended.
Real surprising that he's
Granit Xhaka and yellow card.
But they will miss him though. Yeah, they will miss him because he had an excellent game against France. Big up to Granit Xhaka. But Switzerland, Spain. Your thoughts on that game, man?
It's an intriguing one, this, because Spain, I just can't work Spain out. I watch them. I don't know what, you know, they look like they can be got at. Their defense is not great. Their goalkeeper, you see what the goalkeeper's about, but then they're scoring goals. I'm going to go for I really hope these predictions go better than last week, by the way. I'm going to go for Spain 2-1. I'll go 2-1 Spain.
Yeah, I'm going for Spain to edge it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Switzerland beat them, to be honest. In fact, I'd like to see Switzerland get through and Granit Xhaka play in the semi-finals of the World Cup. But it's going to be tough for Switzerland, but they are resilient. They will dig in, and they have got a couple of talented players. And you know, yeah, I hope they do well. But I think it'll be competitive. But I think Spain will edge it. Yeah. Okay, moving on to Belgium versus Italy. Massive game, this one. It's had me thinking for the past couple of days on how that one will go. You can make a case for both sides winning this one. It's that tight, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards Italy, although I'd like to see Belgium win. So I just like watching Belgium play. They've got some very good players. It could hinge on whether De Bruyne and Hazard are playing. We're hearing that they're carrying slight knocks. If those two play, then I'll lean towards Belgium, but I'm hearing one or maybe even both of them might not play. So I'm kind of leaning towards Italy. What's your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, well, I read about that. I think De Bruyne they're gonna take a chance with him. I think Hazard, because it's a muscle injury, they're saying he's the bigger doubt. I'm see, this is interesting because just thinking from an England point of view, I think Italy are the more beatable team for England if they were to get to the final.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? Because I just think Belgium have got, you know, De Bruyne, Lukaku, Hazard. They can beat anybody. A lot will depend on those two playing. I'm just going to assume those two are playing until we hear otherwise. I think Belgium will nick it. I think they've got a little bit too much. I think, you know, Chiellini and Bonucci, although great defenders, you know, they are getting on a little bit. I think Lukaku will fancy it.
You could easily build this game defense versus attack, couldn't
you? Yeah, Belgium attack.
Team, they've got an embarrassment of riches going forward.
Yeah,
the defenders. I mean, they're quite old. You know, Vertonghen and you know the guys like that at the back there. So, and we all know Italy are very resilient defense-wise. Yeah, man. You could. It's tight.
It's a tight way. It'll be very close. I'm just slightly leaning towards Belgium. I think their attacking talent will probably just get them over the line. So I'll go 2-1 again. 2-1 to Belgium.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. Czech Republic versus Denmark. I know who the neutrals will want to win, but will Denmark win? I mean, the Christian Eriksen thing, that unfortunate incident happened in that first game, certainly galvanized them as a nation. It's also made them, I would assume, as everyone's second team in the tournament.
Yeah.
And they do play good football. That's one thing I would say. Most of their games I've seen, they have looked decent, played well, scored goals, and they battered Wales in the previous game there. I'm going for Denmark. What about you? Although Czech Republic, they keep getting through, don't they? And they're one of those teams, man, that they're difficult to edge out. But what are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I think this will be a Denmark win as well. Like I said, I think Czech Republic would have been out if Holland never had a man sent off.
Yeah.
They are a stubborn, resilient team. I think Denmark have got a little bit more quality than Czech Republic in attack and in midfield. So I'm going to go for a Denmark win. I'm going to go for 1-0 to Denmark. I'll go for a tight one here. I'll go 1-0.
Yeah. I'm going Denmark 2-0.
Yeah,
you know, Denmark will be too much, and I just think that they're playing with a certain spirit, man. It's going to be difficult to deny them. So yeah, I'm going Denmark, and that leaves the last game, but certainly not the least of the games: Ukraine versus England. Now, I think I know what you're going to say, but let us know anyway. What's your thoughts on this game, bro?
Yeah, listen, I got to be honest. England should be turning Ukraine over. Football doesn't always work like that. That's just a strange thing, isn't it? You know, the difference with this game, England have played every game at Wembley. They're now going and playing in Rome, so you're not going to have that fan base. It's not a home game. It's in a neutral venue. I'm sure Ukraine will put bodies behind the ball and make life difficult. So I don't think it will just be like a hammering will go there.
Ukraine tank.
Yeah, you know, they got some big, strong players, but you know they've just gone to extra time as well against Sweden. That would have took a lot out of them.
Mm.
They had a couple injuries in that game. I think England beat them. I think England I'm thinking 2 or 3-0, you know, honestly. I'll go 2-0. I'll be a bit more late. I'll say 2-0. Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful and say 3 or 4-0. I'll say 2-0, but I think England will brush them aside. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I can't see anything other than an England win. I'll be extremely surprised if we slip up against Ukraine. I've watched Ukraine a few games now, and I've never ever thought to myself that this would be a team that would go far in the tournament. In fact, further than I thought they would have done when I first saw them. So credit to them for that. But I think there's no way, surely England are going to slip up now. There are some intriguing factors about this game. Is that obviously we know how Ukraine are going to play. They're basically going to set up 2 backs of 4 and invite England on to attack them and look to counter-attack. Now, England, one of the criticisms has been is that the way we've been set out with the 2 holding midfielders, we've not been expansive enough. We've not been, dynamic enough up front up until now. So, yeah, the mindset's going to have to change probably a little bit for this game. Do we have that in us to make those changes and win the game? Because obviously it's a different type of game than the ones that played previously, this one, for a whole host of reasons. So let's talk a little bit about that. So let me ask you, what type of team do you think he'll play and what formation? Will he stick with the 2 holding midfielders? Will he stick with what's got us here so far? Or will he try and be a little bit more adventurous? There are a couple of players there on yellow cards as well. Do you think he'll make changes? And if so, what do you think those changes will be, man?
For me, I mean, we played 3 at the back against Germany with 2 wing backs. I'd go back to 4 at the back. I don't think you need to play wing backs against Ukraine. For me, I would take out Kieran Trippier, who played last game. So I would play a back 4 of Walker, Stones, Maguire and Shaw. See, the midfield too. I think he will stick with Rice and Phillips. I just think he will because I think
they're carrying yellow cards. And Declan Rice, towards the end of the game, he seemed to be pulling up with cramp. Now, I would have thought, surely opportunity.
Henderson or Bellingham.
Yeah, to get some other guys in there. And maybe, I don't like to use the word tinker because it sort of gives off the wrong signal. But to make some changes that will win this game and still utilize your squad.
Yeah.
Why can't Sancho get a game against Ukraine, for example? I mean, come on now. He's probably playing against better opposition week in, week out back in Germany.
Yeah.
No disrespect. I'm trying not to be disrespectful to Ukraine. But it has to be said, they're just not that good, man. I'm not capping. I just think that England should win this game and win it. Maybe not comfortably because it's a massive game. It's a quarterfinal at a major tournament. So, you have to show respect to Ukraine. But I still think England should have more than enough to get this across the line, bro. What are you saying?
I just think because he's a very pragmatic manager, I just don't think he will make too many changes. But like you said, Phillips and Rice got booked in the last game. So if either one of them got booked now, I'm assuming they would miss the semi-final. So it may be a time to maybe you bring Bellingham and maybe Henderson. Maybe you bring both of them in. I just can't see him.
What about Sancho? People are crying out for him. He's just had an amazing season in Germany. He's on his way to United. People are waxing lyrical about this guy. I want to see him play. I haven't seen him. You know what I mean? He seems like a confident individual. I don't think he'd be fazed by the magnitude of the game. We've got these guys in the squad, man. These are our strengths. We've got you look at the squad that we've got, man. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? We want to see some of these guys. We do want to win, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think that these guys coming in will get us over the line anyway.
I hear you. I think the problem you got Sterling on one wing. He scored 3 in 4 games. He's on fire. And obviously Saka's gone on the right and done really well. Maybe you could give Sancho a game instead of one of those two. I mean, who would you play him over? That's the question. And obviously Grealish as well. Everyone's capping for Grealish. He's done 2 assists since he's come on in both games. So it'll be interesting. I would maybe drop Grealish in that 10 role and give him a go in there. I'd like to see Sancho start. I got to be honest. I think you can't just rely on 11 players to win a tournament. You know, you've got to use 3 or 4 other players at least. So I'd like to see a few other players come in.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, man, I mean, no disrespect to Ukraine. They've got some I'm going to keep saying that. Yarmolenko, Zinchenko, we know about. Come on, bro. If we don't beat Ukraine,
just end it. Just finish it. Don't ever come back to a tournament again.
A massive, massive disappointment. And that's putting it lightly, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say, is it coming home yet? Because we've got to get past Ukraine.
I think it's coming home.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I think it's on its way home, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, wow.
I think it's on its way home. I think we'll beat Ukraine. No, listen. I think we'll make the final. I think we'll make the final. In the final, anything can happen. If we play Belgium in the final, I think we're underdogs. If we play Italy in the final, I think we're favourites. Personally, I think. But we'll have to see. We're a long way off. But
yeah, we're still a long way off. But I do agree.
Saying it more in hope than expectation. I think, you know.
Yeah. I think you're right there, man. I mean, listen, I'm fully expecting us to go through against Ukraine, and in the semi-final, it's going to be a tough game, whoever we get. But again, we're going to be at Wembley. I fancy us to get through. I said before the tournament that if we get to the semi-finals, then we would have achieved what I expected us to achieve.
Yeah.
If we go on better and get to the final, great. If we go on better again and win it, then that's absolutely fantastic and great for the country. But before the tournament, I wasn't accepting anything less than a semi, and we're semi-final, that is, for all you people out there with dirty minds. So listen, man, I'm expecting us to get to the semi-final.
Yeah.
And of course, the first half of the draw is that if Switzerland or Spain will play Belgium or Italy, and Czech Republic or Denmark will play England and Ukraine. So that will be the next round. Okay, bro. So we're approaching the hour mark. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting in that ballpark in terms of time. And we're coming to the end of the show. Is there anything in closing you wanted to say on the Euros? How have you enjoyed it so far?
I think it's been a great tournament. It's been refreshing. You know, these days where there's been no games, you're sitting there like, yo, man, I could do with a 2 p.m. kickoff and the 5 p.m. So I think it's been a brilliant tournament. And obviously seeing fans back in some of the stadiums, I think, has made a huge difference. And we've seen a lot of attacking football. So it's been entertaining. Hopefully we get a good end. And then, you know, obviously Arsenal will be creeping back round the corner.
Yeah. And shout out to Saka, man. I didn't say it before, but it would be remiss of me not to congratulate him on his performances so far. He's played twice. He's done really well, especially in the first game. Did well in the second game as well. Looked a bit tired. Took few knocks there. But yeah, man, it's great to see him playing for England, doing well, representing the club in honourable fashion. So shout out to Saka. Shout out also to Granit Xhaka, man. I mean, he's had his critics. You've been one of them, to say the least.
Yeah.
He won't play in the game against Spain, but I am hoping that they do win that game and he will feature in the semi-final for Switzerland if they get through. So yeah. Okay, bro. We're coming to the end of this week's show. Once again, I've really enjoyed myself. Really enjoyed having you on. You've been forthright and honest as usual, and we appreciate that. So thanks, bro. Tell the people where they can find you on social media.
Curtis Shaw TV, people, daily uploads. You know where I'm at. Big up to everyone for the support. Big up Laurie for his great intros and hosted of the show. And hopefully I'll be in the studio next week.
Yeah. Well, dare I say it, I'm running out of superlatives to describe. Maybe you coming into the studio gives me a break from them long introductions.
Yeah.
Man. Thanks for coming on. And thanks to everybody out there for tapping in, for watching the show. Thanks also for all the people who have been sending us in their comments. I've really enjoyed interacting with people there. Keep doing that. We appreciate that as well. Take care of yourselves. Keep yourselves healthy, well, COVID-free. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. We're out.